Hello everybody, I am submitting my English teaching video to be an English teacher for verbling.com. So today I will be teaching you verbs which are a very important parts of speech. So let's get the ball rolling. As you can see that verbs are divided into three types. We have action verbs, linking verbs, and auxiliary verbs. So let's try to explain and learn each one. So, action verbs make up the majority of verbs in the English language. So, action verbs tell us something about the subject. They tell us an action done by the subject. Let's study these examples. He played football yesterday. This means that this verb, the verb to play, describes an action done by the subject, and the action here is playing. The second example is my mother eats fruits 3 times a day. The action here described by the verb to eat is the action of eating, that is movement. I found a wallet last week. The verb to find describes an action done last week, which is finding a wallet. So, verbs or action verbs describe an action done by the subject. The second example here, or the second type of verb, linking or state of being verbs, they do not show an action. These verbs explain the condition someone or something is in. So they tell us something about the subject, a state of the subject. Here is an example. My friend is sick. So the verb to be here is a linking or state of being verb. They tell us, the verb to be here tells us something about my friend, which is sickness. That car looks nice. So the verb here to look tells us that the car is nice. The third example is to become. John became a university teacher. Okay, it's a piece of information which states that John turned out to be a university teacher. The third example is, or the third type of verbs is good. Yeah, auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb describe the main verb. So this means that auxiliary verbs are not the main verb. They are what? Good. They are helping verb. They describe. They give a piece of information about the main verb, and they are count in number. We have may, must, might, could, would, should, can, will, and shall. So here we have 9 types of auxiliary verbs. Good. Example: David can eat 10 apples. So here the auxiliary verb is can, and the main verb is to eat. So can describes eat. Very good. So here we may understand that there is a high possibility of eating 10 apples. This means that David has the ability to eat 10 apples. Good. David may eat 10 apples. So the same sentence but with different auxiliary verb. So this sentence is not like the first one. So may. So it means that David may or may not. We are not sure whether David may eat 10 apples. There is not a high possibility that David may that David eats 10 apples in comparison with the first sentence. Okay? Third, David will eat 10 apples. So here is a different what? Different what? Different auxiliary verb. Good. So will. So here, this auxiliary verb tells us something about the future, which means that David will, so in the future, will eat 10 apples. It's not now, but in the future. So here we can say that the same sentence, but when we use different auxiliary verbs, we have different meaning. Okay? So that's all about the verbs, which are very important parts of speech. So thank you so much.